Hello everybody, welcome back to InfoTech Research Group's ongoing series into the AI market landscape. I'm Thomas Randall, an analyst here at InfoTech. Delighted today to be joined by my colleague Boris Lam and also Ulf here, CEO and co-founder of LoyJoy. We're going to be talking about how AI can be used for guiding quality customer experiences. So Ulf, thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to give a quick introduction for yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Thomas and Boris. So great to be here. My name is Ulf Loetschert. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LoyJoy. We're a company based in Germany. We produce a cloud software that makes heavily use of AI. You could call it a chatbot platform. I would prefer to say it's a conversational AI and marketing platform. So that's where we're coming from this very customer-centric approach. So the best customer experience is always our focal point. And I'm in the company. I'm responsible for the business development and sales department.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time coming on, Ulf. And now, perhaps just to start, what are some of the core challenges that you see organizations have where you think we need something like LoyJoy? What's the value proposition of the solution?
Well, still today, we have the web since let's say the end of the 90s, where we had the big first wave, and I think we are still in a phase of a very static environment on the web. So companies interacting with their customers, it's so often like filling out forms, and thank you very much for sending this form in. If I have a question, I'm not sure how to fill out this form, I would need to call someone. Hopefully I'm on the right time when their service is available. And this is really our mission, to change this. So how do companies engage with their customers? And we want to make it very simple and want to make it also very engaging. So you hear that joy in our name. Yeah, so the other part is for loyalty, the rest is for joy. And we believe this, if you have a joyful experience, then you will have happier customers, and happier customers will be more loyal to your brand. I think this can really make a difference still today, since so many brands out there spend a lot on their marketing, a lot on their advertising campaigns, for example, and then you click on a button to convert, and then you're from this fancy video on TikTok, for example, you're on their website, and it's just a static form to fill out, which is boring, which feels like a lot of work you need to do as a customer to get in contact, and maybe it's more interesting to click for the next video. Yeah, so the attention span is getting lower and lower. So we want to catch customers instantly, and we want to guide them to whatever goal we have, be it a lead generation or signing up for a service, or getting customer service, whatever, but really to guide them along the way. And the conversation is the most natural way to do that. Yeah, I mean, our whole life basically is a conversation. So why not continue that in communication with brands? So that's it in a nutshell, what we want to achieve. And I think we still have a lot of opportunity to do that. Yeah.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I think that's a very clever wordplay in the name for LoyJoy. And I think that kind of flows in the next question, which is we're trying to understand some of the high value and high impact use cases, as well as the benefits that customers would receive when using LoyJoy. So if you could detail some of those as well.
Yeah, so we're a platform that is used. I think what makes us also special is that we're used across a company divisions. Yeah, so we're very active in the marketing and sales, but as I said, a chatbot, of course, the first connection is okay, customer care automation, which is totally fine, but I think it often comes from a wrong standpoint, just from the standpoint, how can we make sure we save money on not having people calling us? Yeah? And we believe, okay, how can we make it a very positive touch point? Yeah, also, it doesn't matter in what division of the company you're basically talking to. So the biggest impact we see is, for example, in sales and marketing, is for the conversion rate. Yeah, so the conversation is really able to boost. So we have a lot of customers that triple their conversion rates with the platform by switching from, let's say, a form-based lead gen experience to this conversation, or to a guided selling approach, where you where the chat asks you some questions and then provides some products that you might be interested in, but then also offers, for example, if it's a B2B case, also offers that you connect with the right salesperson afterwards, etc. But you already know, okay, the company can help me, and now I need a good offer. So this is the conversion rate part. And of course, if we're talking about the automation part, then it's a lot case deflection, 24/7 service availability. So more in this cost reduction field.
Fantastic. And perhaps then just to follow up on the kinds of organizations then that LoyJoy engages with, and the personas, then I think you gave a sense of who would be using the solution, but perhaps just to be explicit, are there certain sectors that will utilize LoyJoy more? Is it mostly retail? Is it something else? And then who is using the solution within that?
Yeah, so our initial proposition was especially geared towards consumer brands, towards retail. So brands that have a huge customer base, but oftentimes not even have a digital contact point with their customers, so to enable them to engage via social media, also via their packaging, for example, put a QR code there and allow people to engage. Like sign up to extend your warranty, for example, and to make it from a boring process into like the first step of a more digital relationship with your customers. So that's still a big part of our customer base. Yeah, so we have a lot of large consumer brands like some DAX companies from Germany, like Beiersdorf, like Deutsche Telekom, where we have these huge volume also. So that's where we're really coming from. Then we extended it to other industries. So currently, for example, we are focusing very much on the financial industry. So banking and insurance is currently one of our focus industries, where we also see a lot of traction, a lot of brands also like moving from their kind of first generation chatbot approach to a second generation, and with of course now with Gen AI availability, that makes a lot of sense to look for new opportunities. And then we have this kind of USP to say, okay, we are not just a better AI in this chatbot, but you also have this overall better usability and the focus on this positive customer journey, so the gamification elements. And we work very hard to have a beautiful chat UI, for example. Yeah, so you really see it's not coming from a standpoint this brands want to save money, please do not call, but it comes from a point of how can we make it how can we make your time in this engagement as valuable as possible. So that's where I see currently the insurance industry moving in that direction, very open to use chat not only in this typical use cases. And then we also see more and more B2B brands joining. So we come very much, as I said, from B2C, but B2B is currently the fastest growing industry.
Yeah, I love to hear that. And I think that really matches the kind of company that we want to be interviewing in these thought leader interviews, to hear that you have this wide consumer base and to hear that they have so many great use cases for it. So we're also wondering about the type of AI that you're using in your solution. So if you have any kind of demo that you'd like to share at this point, we could definitely get that going if you'd like.
Yeah, I definitely can share a demo. Maybe first of all, up front, a few thoughts on this AI. So for us as a platform, at the beginning, I mean, when we started back in 2018. You had this wave of this natural language processing intent-based AI. We integrated that into our platform as well, but we always had the feeling, okay, this is not this cannot be the end game for AI. This will never be a really cool solution, because these predefined answers, they cannot be the best solution. You want personalized answers. And so we experimented with the very first versions of Google's BERT, for example. I mean, these were the first steps towards generative AI. And then we instantly saw, okay, this has a lot of potential, but we knew we are, as a German-based company, and we are a self-funded company, yeah, so we don't have external, on purpose, we don't have external investors. We knew, okay, to make this really, to make this BERT into a consumer-facing product, you will need millions, because you need a lot of training data, you need a lot of human reinforcement learning, whatever, the things that OpenAI, for example, then invested heavily in. So we kind of waited for this magic moment that one of the big platforms will come with a breakthrough AI that you plug into your solution via an API. And back in the day, that wasn't possible. You had, of course, all these products from Google and Amazon, but to be honest, they weren't a game changer. They were doing the same as the industry average, basically. Maybe you had some that were 5% better there or 2% better there, but doesn't matter in the end. So that was a huge game changer. And so we were able to instantly jump on that train, and we were one of the first adopters of Gen AI. So we already experimented with GPT-3, but we still had the feeling, okay, it's not yet good enough to make it a customer-facing product. But so we were very fast able to integrate GPT 3.5. And since then, we have integrated, I think, 10 or 20 LLMs into the product. And this is the big game changer for me. It's that AI has become a commodity. So before in the market, you had a lot of marketing, our AI is outstanding and better or whatever. I wonder how they do their marketing today, because I really believe you won't have a chatbot provider that has a stronger AI than, let's say, GPT-4o, for example. But I'm happy to show you how that looks in the platform. And I thought I share an example how I actually use our platform for myself. Let me quickly share my screen here.
That'd be wonderful. And while you're doing that, Ulf, not to distract you with another question, but I thought it was interesting though you mentioned, the previous GPT models weren't as good, and I'm just interested, was that because of an accuracy problem? Of course, when you're dealing with customers, they want to have accurate outputs, and is that changed now? Just interested in your thought on that.
Yeah, that has changed definitely. So while I'm sharing here, I think this is a very important part of the platform where you can pick your model, your provider. Yeah, see, there's Llama 3.1, and there's Anthropic, and there's OpenAI, and there's Azure, since they have availability in Europe. And yes, so GPT-3 was still kind of raw. Yeah, so if you used it as a customer-facing platform, it was very easily to distract. Yeah, you would get, of course, hallucinations. You would get kind of weird sentences that didn't make complete sense. And then GPT 3.5 was this step, or ChatGPT as we all know it, was this step where you really had, and I think it was the human reinforcement learning where they heavily invested in, that you had more, the sentences made sense. Yeah, you had no nonsense sentences. Of course, you still have, till today, you have the hallucination problem, but this is solvable through this RAG approach, this retrieval augmented generation approach. And you can prompt the systems that they don't come up with information, that they only answer based on, for example, data that is provided by the customers. And this is very reliable. So we have really customers now that are live for almost 1.5 years. So March 2023 is when the OpenAI released the API, and we had customers that started only a few weeks after that. Really also very large customers like RTL Plus, which is like a German kind of Netflix streaming service. They have millions of customers, and LoyJoy is their completely first single point of contact. Yeah? So if you want to reach out to them, the first you get is the chatbot, and only if the chatbot has no solution, you will get a call back or an email sent. So that was really a game changer, yes. So today the AI is reliable enough that you can securely use it customer facing also. I mean, still today a lot of brands say, okay, we want to use it internally only, but I believe it's good enough to be used customer facing as well. I hope that answered your question.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ulf. And I suppose just as a point on understanding the way in which customers might come across the pricing models or the types of experiences they could have with LoyJoy, what could they, is this all out of the box? Do you go by a pricing tier? Just out of interest, if you can share that.
Yeah. So we have several pricing tiers. Our basic pricing, which starts at 500 euro per month, is more focused on the journey part without the AI. But then we have our Pro plan, which starts at 900 euro per month. This contains already generative AI, but has some limits on the number of conversations, for example. And then we have our enterprise and unlimited plans for larger brands, which are still in the four-figure monthly fee area.
Very good. And so this is the interface, is it, that a user would have coming into this? And then in terms of what a customer might have, would it be like just a chatbot on a web page, or how would they interact with the solution there?
Yeah, so what you see here is our manager, our backend system, where you can manage your, we call it experiences, yeah, so which are basically consisting of a conversational dialogue flow here, which consists of your branding, the languages you want to use, of your knowledge content. So this is the basis for the AI. Yeah? So for example, for this year, I uploaded our own files, like our security measures, data privacy files that contain all the information from our IT team. Because I get a lot, and our sales team gets a lot of questions from customers regarding IT security, regarding data privacy. And so I built this chatbot for the team. They can access it and they can ask all the questions. So they can talk to these documents, saving time on our IT department because they don't get so many questions forwarded to them. So this is the knowledge part. So I'm focused here on the knowledge part of the AI. Of the chatbot, yeah, but you could use LoyJoy completely without it, because if you want to use it for lead generation, AI might also be a distraction on the conversion road. So this is the place where you build this chatbots, and you see it's a completely no-code interface. Yeah? No one has to program anything here. It's a platform that is totally geared towards the business teams in the enterprises. And what you see here is, if you want to add it to your website, you get a little tiny JavaScript, and you can also add it to a lot of other channels. So to your apps, to your Instagram stories, to your Facebook, to your TikTok, to your WhatsApp, and then this is you build it once, and then you can basically publish it anywhere. You see, you also get a QR code. So if you want to use it at a point of sale, for example.
Very good. Thank you so much, Ulf, for walking us through the demo there. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Otherwise, I'm happy to hand it over to Boris to continue with some of the questions.
Well, maybe one thing I would like to point out, because you see here's a long list of these process modules, yeah, and this is how you build your kind of rich conversational applications. Yeah? So you see, in this case, it's a very simple chatbot. It only has a welcoming, but I could add all these like business logic here. I could say, okay, I collect some data and I want to create a PDF from it. I want to do a Net Promoter Score survey. I want to have a questionnaire here for our customers. They should do a snapshot of something, do an image. I want to evoke AI to do something with the information, to come up for a product recommendation, for example. I want to send data via API, and then you see a huge list here of Salesforce and HubSpot tools you can connect to, you can authenticate users, you can get marketing permissions, you can do loyalty programs. So you have a lot of value in this 100+ modules that you can just drag and drop and configure here. So AI is an enabler, but it's not the full part of the story. Yeah, only to have an AI chat is not enough to have a great customer journey from our.
So, Ulf, could you share with us how we go from the back end here and the building of the tree to what the user sees as well?
Absolutely. So what we have here, as you see, here's the process model, and this for our IT security chatbot, it's very simple. It just has this one module, but down here is the handling of the AI. So you see, it's also multi-step handling of the AI. So we start, here is the incoming message. That will be my question that I will ask the chat. And then the GPT gateway will decide, is it a knowledge question? It will then use the documents that I uploaded before. Is it a follow-up question, or is it just small talk? And I could add more branches as I need. Yeah? So I could say, here's my remedial process. So if a customer is very angry, go to this process. Or if the customer asks for a certain product, I go to our product guide. Yeah? But to show you how it looks like, here is my chat already that I built. And as I said, this one is very simple. It just has the welcoming and the option to ask a question about data privacy and IT security regarding the LoyJoy platform. So one question that I get very often, or a sales team gets very often, is, for example, do I need a cookie to run the LoyJoy chatbot? Because if I need a cookie in Europe, you need this consent cookie banner, consent manager on your website. So this is a typical question that we get. And here is the detailed answer, because I asked the AI, please do it in a detailed way. So it says, okay, what does it say? The chatbot can respond. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a very detailed answer now, how it interacts. In the end, it says, okay, if you need cookies or not depends on how you choose to integrate. The simple answer would be no, you don't need cookies to run the LoyJoy chatbot. But of course, they can be helpful if you want to provide customers with chat history, for example, on the website.
That's brilliant. And the reason why we've got the detail here is because of how we set up how the chatbot should answer
Exactly.
on the back end. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, here's my prompt where I say, for example, formulate your answers in detail, but kind of sound like a human, not too not too GPT-like, not too perfect, because of course these are also answers that we will send out to customers, for example.
At this point then, Boris, please feel free to continue on with a good follow-up question there.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, it's good to see that product demo. I think we definitely can see how, it's a simplistic tool. It doesn't bring with it the complications that normal code would have, but it definitely is conducive to like a good customer experience and to give your consumers more than just that standard chatbot. So was wondering with this tool, the kind of ROI that you've seen your customers experience.
Yeah, so we have a very normally a very short ROI term, since you can very well calculate your ROI. So if you do an advertising campaign to generate leads, or you have your website where you want to do sales, then you can see the lift very quickly. So if you run the ad for 1 week and switch from the website to the chatbot, you will instantly see changes, and then you can very easily calculate, okay, if I have a conversion rate instead of 15%, I have 45%. Okay, every lead is worth, I don't know, €5 or $5, and then I can calculate very well. And especially easy, it's of course in the if you have case deflection, for example. If you have a chatbot and you see, so for the customer I mentioned in the streaming service, so before they had kind of you had a contact form that you kind of could approach them, or the phone number, and we were able to reduce the incoming traffic to their service team by over 70% in the first year. So, and then of course, I told you some numbers already on the pricing. It's very easy for them to calculate. This is a total winning case for them after, I guess, one month already.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. And then I think you've also detailed this a little earlier, but if you could describe some of the kind of privacy aspects or data security kind of aspects of LoyJoy as well.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, we founded the company in 2018, which was the year of GDPR. And I remember the panic everyone had across Europe to what happens to my company with this GDPR regulation, so the privacy regulation in Europe. And so the good thing is we were aware of that already. So the law was written already when we started, and we kind of were thinking really from a privacy first perspective. So it's it's a lot easier to be a bit strict on privacy and then allow more. So of course, if we have customers from other markets like US or Latin America, they tend to switch off some of these privacy first features, which is totally okay in their markets. In Germany, we see it's critical to have this GDPR compliance. You won't make a deal with a larger customer. It might be different for really small companies, but since we are more focused on enterprise brands, it's a total must-have. And we, as I said, we built it in by design, kind of. And with our first, for example, I remember our first banking customer, we had a lot of intense discussions with the IT security team. And back then I was kind of annoyed. Why do they ask so many questions? But in the end, it made the product better. And then every customer afterwards felt like a walk in the park, very easy to achieve because we had the documents you need. We had, and we really have all these technology in place. For example, you can switch off the database in LoyJoy completely, which will still work. You can forward every lead directly from the chat into your application, so it won't be stored anywhere in LoyJoy. If you want it stored, it's encrypted. It's only in Europe for European customers. And every data we store has a deletion date, so it won't be stored forever. And so in the beginning, as I said, we were working a lot with consumer brands. We had some approaches to kind of develop the platform more into a CRM kind of solution. Okay, so we're not only like the nice front end, but also maybe the database. But we found our way, and we found out, okay, our customers, they have their CRM solutions mostly. So they have their, let's say, Salesforce or other applications in place. But what these applications really lack is this nice interface. So we're kind of the GDPR compliant, but beautiful interface for these CRM applications, kind of.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. We were also wondering if you might have something to share in terms of if there's any new product items to look out for in the future, or if there's anything new features to watch out for, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So as I said, so Gen AI has been the total game changer for us as a platform. And we use it not only customer facing, but we use it also, and customer facing and consumer facing, but also for our customers. So I showed you this drag and drop interface, for example, where you can very easily build it's a process engine, technically speaking. And the great thing about this is it's kind of editing a file. It's kind of editing a Word file, basically. And so the next step will be to create your chat flows by just typing, okay, I want to have a lead gen chatbot for, I don't know, an airline, and it should be for my airline brand XY, XYZ, and I want it to be very friendly, and it should collect the email address and all the address, etc. And then the first chat draft will be created by AI, and then you make your additions, your changes to finalize it. But in this kind of generative creation of a chatbot, I see a lot of potential to make it even faster to launch chatbots across your departments. Which will hopefully make it even more easy to adopt the solution and even more fun to use it. This is the biggest next step we want to see in the coming months.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds amazing. And just kind of an admin question, but is there a website address that our members can use to find out more about LoyJoy?
Sure. So if you go to our website, to loyjoy.com, you will find all the information. You can also sign up for a free 30-day trial, so no strings attached. You can try out everything. I think that's always a good for the trust factor, that you can see it by yourself. So that's an invitation to the viewers to do that. And there you will find a lot of information and also documentation online for if you're more technical and want to dive a bit deeper into the possibilities.
Yeah, sounds excellent. And then just as a kind of closer, wondering if you could kind of summarize in one or two sentences, if there were viewers out there that are watching this, what should be the key takeaway from this conversation?
So the key takeaway for me would be that AI is Gen AI especially is the enabler for a great consumer or customer interface. But it's not enough, basically. You also need to think about your UI and your overall approach. And that also the Gen AI will develop further very quickly. So we will see a lot of more efficient solutions. So even if you believe maybe it's not for me today, or it's not good enough for our use case, next week it might look different. So literally next week.
So Ulf, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. Really appreciate your time and walking us through the LoyJoy solution. Wishing you all the best for the year ahead.
Thank you very much, and have a great day.